Hello and welcome back to yet another video. This week I am making Harley Quinn's red dress from the Suicide Squad. The better Suicide Squad. Now I first made this dress back in 2021 and I was never really happy with it, so I've been looking for an excuse to remake it ever since. And I was making a bunch of other projects, and in between waiting for fabric to arrive overseas, I found the perfect sparkly sequin fabric at my local fabric store and I said, this is it, we're remaking that dress. So without any further ado, let's get into it. And here's a quick rundown of all the fabrics. First, the sparkly sequin fabric, a red cotton sateen, a red cotton drill for all the interlining, and this really cool Batman fabric for the actual lining. And finally, a red pleated chill for the overlay. For the base pattern, I'm using Simplicity S9850 with a few alterations, of course. The first part of any project is of course cutting out all of the pattern pieces, so first I cut out the lining pieces, followed by the drill and the cotton sateen, and finally the sequin fabric, which as you can see I did not use my good scissors on. Next I had to prep every single one of the bodice pieces before I could begin construction, and that just meant layering fabrics on top of each other and then basting them together. The outer layer is a layer of the sequins on top of the cotton sateen, and the inside layer, aka the lining, is made up of the Batman fabric and one layer of cotton drill. Next I based the layers together on my machine, and I hear you asking, how do you sew through all that sequin fabric? And the answer to that is leather needles. At any point in this video where you see me sewing through the sequin fabric, just know I'm using a leather needle and I never ever once had any issues with it. After every single one of the pieces had been basted together, it was now time to begin construction, which I did according to the pattern instructions. This meant sewing up the bottom half of the bodice first. So the outer layer is done, as you can see, all sewn together now. Yay! So I'm just going to repeat all those steps with the lining layer. So I'll be right back with the lining done. Lining's done. Yay! So what I'm going to do now is base this to the other side of the sparkly fabric and then add some boning channels. So let's get that done. For the boning channels, I am using a black cotton twill tape, and then I create the channels according to the pattern instructions, and they mostly tend to be where the seams are. I sew the channels down, sewing as closely as possible to the edge of the strip, sewing through all the layers of fabric. Next I begin the cup construction, starting with the outer layers first. Now this part was actually quite tricky as there was very little seam allowance, so no room for error when sewing these pieces together. And for a first time sewing such extreme curves like this, I think I did quite well. Then I repeated the steps with the lining fabric, and then I wanted to gauge how they were going to look on the bodice, and I was quite happy with it. Now before adding the lining to the back, I had to figure out the halter neck situation, so I just borrowed a halter neck pattern piece from my favourite halter neck pattern, added the interfacing and then sewed it up according to the instructions for that. I then pinned it in place to the top of the cups to check that it was going to work, and it looked like it's going to work. Alright, now that I have the top mostly done and the halter neck figured out, it's now time to finish off the cups, which is something I've never actually done before. I've never made cups like this, like lingerie style before. However, I just got a parcel in the post and it has underwires and sew-in foam in it, and now I've got to figure out how to put that in the cups and then actually attach the cups to the bodice. So let's give it a go. First I cut all of the cup pieces out of the foam. Then I cut away the 5mm seam allowance along the centre seam and the top edge of the bottom cup pieces so that it would be easier to sew these pieces together in the upcoming step. So instead of layering these pieces one on top of the other, I sewed them together flat using a zigzag stitch. This way it removed any of the bulk that would be in the seam otherwise. This was another tricky, but I believe completely necessary step to get that nice smooth finish. After trimming away the seam allowance from the whole outside edge of the cup, I then pinned it in place to the lining and then top stitched it along the seam lines. I did this by sewing parallel lines on either side of the existing seam. With the foam secured, I could now sew them to the outer layer. First along the top edge, encasing the halter neck, and then understitching the lining layer so that it doesn't peek over the sequin layer. And here's how that's looking so far. I then basted the bottom edge through all of the layers and it was finally ready to attach to the bodice. I know I keep saying things were tricky in this costume, but believe me when I say this was probably the most trickiest part yet, just because of that really tiny seam allowance. Actually, no, I lied. It was definitely sewing on this bra wire casing because you have to sew as close to the edge as possible through all of the layers, which are actually starting to get quite thick at this point. But I did prevail, so now all I had to do was insert the underwire. It was at this point I decided I'd quite frankly had enough working on the bodice, and so I started on the skirt. And to make the skirt, I just used my favourite circle skirt pattern and cut it out. Alright, now that all of the boning cases and everything are done, haven't done the bones yet, but that's because I need to do the next step, which is getting some of the tulle, laying it over the top of this layer, tacking it in place, and then sewing it down. And then I'll be ready to finish the side edges and put the bones in. Oh, alright, let's go. Compared to everything else I'd done on the bodice at this point, this part was super easy. All I had to do was drape the tulle and then pin it in place and then hand stitch it down, making sure that I matched all the directional lines of the pleating on the original dress. Here's how everything looked once I'd finished the draping, and here's how everything looked once I'd hand stitched everything down. To finish the top edges, I made some bias tape out of the cotton sateen and then sewed it along the inside, which meant now I could move on to the boning. I used a combination of spiral steel and flat steel. With the bones done, I then moved on to assembling the skirt. So first I sewed up the side seams, and then I went to sew up the back piece, deciding to add an invisible zipper to the very top portion of it. And here's how it's all starting to look. Hello, and welcome to a new day where I am waiting for stuff to arrive so I can finish doing the top. Because as I was putting all of the boning in it, I was short by about this much. So I had to order 10 whole meters just so I could finish this. 10 was the minimum order. While I'm waiting for the boning to arrive, I came across a problem I'm having with the back hair. Despite when I made this initially, adding an extra 2 centimeters to the two back pieces here, it's still slightly too small in the top here to meet in the middle. Bottom meets fine, top doesn't meet. So what I've done to remedy that problem is I've added 2 little corset backs into the back there so that now I can lace that up and I can hook and eye close the lower portion of it, and then it doesn't matter that the top doesn't meet because I'll still be nice and secure because this hair will lace up. That's basically the top done at this point, apart from waiting for the boning. And I still haven't figured out the straps. I have them sitting in here and they're super, super long at this point because I don't actually know how to do them. So that's something I'm going to figure out later. And I have started work on the skirt. And now that's gotten to a point where I have to destroy one side of it because she has that asymmetrical ripped skirt going on. Let's get some scissors and cut down one side of it. Following the reference image closely, I hacked away at one side of the skirt. Then it was time to add the tiers, so to do that I marked out where everything should go using chalk. I then connected all of the dashes together, giving me placement lines for where to add the tiers. Speaking of, to create the tiers I cut my sequin fabric into very long rectangular pieces. And now's a good time to warn you about the dangers of working with sequin fabric. It has been months since I've made this dress. I am recording this voiceover so long after the fact, and I am still finding these little red sequins everywhere in the house. I've cleaned up so many times, they're everywhere. I can't get rid of them. Anyway, I also had to cut a bunch of the very long rectangles out of the pleated tulle as well. Now to create the ruffles, each strip consists of a layer of the tulle over a layer of the sequins. And then I use this terrifying foot on my machine to ruffle them. And just so you guys can truly appreciate how terrifying this situation was, let me slow down the footage so you can listen and see. Do you hear that crunching? I was genuinely fearing for my life at this point. And then after a very long time, because you can see how quickly I was working here, I had the combination tulle and sequin fabric ready to pin to the skirt. Starting with the lowest tier, I could then sew them all in place. Thankfully, I could just use my normal sewing foot to do this, and so everything ran super quick, super smooth. This isn't sped up footage, by the way, this is just how quickly I was working. Okay, you got me at sped up footage, but it was very quick. After sewing on all of the bottom tier, I then moved on to the rest of the tiers going in ascending order until everything was sewn in place. Once this was completed, I could then sew the skirt to the waist of the bodice. Now this is the most testing time for my leather needle because it was sewing through all of the layers of fabric on the bodice and all of the layers of fabric in the skirt, but once again, it did not break, so I highly recommend using a leather needle to sew through thick fabrics like this. Hello. So I just had my first try on of the dress, and for whatever reason, I decided to only film it in Instagram stories. So enjoy. As it currently is, it's a little bit too big through the waist. I don't know how this has happened, but it has happened. And that's going to be an easy fix. All I'm going to do is see the corset back bit there, because that's just 2 panels. Right now they're sitting there. I'm going to unpick them and move them so that they're there, and then when you lace that up, that'll make the whole thing smaller in the back. But other than that, yeah, it's looking lovely, and I just have to trim some of the sequin layers back so that they're not longer than the tulle layers. It's pretty much done though. How cool is that? The only real thing left to make on it now are the armbands. I'm going to do all that stuff I just mentioned, but you can watch me make armbands instead. How's that sound? Do you remember the long dangly tube bits that were attached to the arms just before? Well, I'm cutting those in half and putting elastic in them to make them elasticated armband thingies. I measured the elastic very precisely by wrapping it around my arm to get the measurement. And after cutting it, I then cut some red tulle the length of the tube that I would be feeding the elastic through. I then cut that piece in half so I'd have some for the tube and some to make a bow from later. Using one piece of the tulle, I folded it over the tube and sewed down the edges to encase it. Then I folded it right way out, stuffed the tube inside of it, and then got that elastic from earlier and fed that through the tube on the inside. I then folded the band in half and created an armband. To finish it, I then tried my best to tie a really nice looking bow and then sewed that directly to the armband. For the other armband, because it's been destroyed, I just take a length of the tulle and tie it directly onto my arm. Now to finish the rest of the dress, all I had to do was hack away at the edges of the bottom using scissors, and this was really nerve-wracking because I didn't want to hack it away too much, but I think I found a nice balance. Now, I've cosplayed Harley a couple of times in the past, and one thing I absolutely couldn't be bothered doing this time was drawing on those damn leg tattoos every single morning I'd be wearing this costume. So I invested in some white stockings and an alcohol pen marker. Then it was just a matter of drawing the tattoos directly onto the stockings while I was wearing them. However, hot tip, walk around with the stockings on first so that they settle into place, or else you're going to end up with what I had, which is the tattoos are going to sag further and further down your leg as the day goes on. And oh my god, I wish I'd known this before I'd done it. But hey, learn from my mistakes. Anyway, here's how they turned out and before they started sagging down my legs. And with that, the costume is finished. So there you have it. That is how I made Harley Quinn's red dress from the Suicide Squad. I am so much happier with how this one turned out comparatively to my first one. The first one I made, the fit was all wrong, the bodice wasn't constructed how it was in the film, the tears were just, none of it was working. Whereas this one, I nailed the bodice. I am so happy with this. Considering it was my first time doing sculpted cups in a corset style thing, I think it looks really great and I'm so happy with it, even if it was incredibly fiddly. As you can see from the reveal bit in the video as well, I did also make her javelin and it was so much fun. The reason I didn't show you how I made it is because I actually just followed somebody else's tutorial entirely. Her name is Myriad Cosplay. She has a series of videos in extreme detail on how she went about making hers. She also sells the templates on her Etsy store so that you can recreate it yourself. There were a couple of things I did differently to how she had done it though. She used a series of
wooden dowels that got gradually smaller at the tip, and then she rolled that in a foam and then smoothed that down. I used one wooden dowel, didn't cover it in the foam, and then just sanded that to get the exact same thing because I wanted the tip to be a little bit stronger because I'm incredibly clumsy. And the other part that I did differently is I used real leather for the handle because I had some on hand, and for the sculptural skeleton bits on the handle, for whatever reason I couldn't get my Cricut to cut those fine details out of the craft foam, so I just happened to get some skeleton earrings from Kmart and I cut them up and glued those down and they worked perfectly. And for some of the super fine details, I actually just went in with 3D puff paint and a pokey thing and just drew it straight on because my Cricut couldn't handle cutting the foam that delicately. But yeah, definitely recommend her tutorial because I am so happy that I now have that javelin in my collection. With all that being said, let me know if you liked this video, chuck a comment down below, maybe even a like, and if you really liked it, maybe even consider subscribing. I do a lot of sewing, crafting, and fun related things here on this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!
Alright, now that I have the top mostly done. Oh my goodness. Gelato sauce. Let's try this again.